Good morning, cadets. Today I'll be taking up a grammar session. The topic is relatives. The topic of today's session is relatives. Look at this piece of writing and take note of the highlighted words. You understand highlighted, the words in red. Open space must be a key consideration in urban planning. It is highlighted. It allows people to enjoy the natural environment better. The world's most famous cities are the most livable cities. They is highlighted. They are known for their green space. It would improve the quality of life for people as they, once again they, often suffer from a polluted environment. Urban planning is a relatively new profession. It has arisen from the concerns for health and maintaining well-being through averting diseases and illnesses associated with overcrowding, poor sanitation and exposure to environment pollution. So you have seen the highlighted words, it, they. These are the highlighted words. Now let us look at the same piece of writing. The same piece of writing is there. But what has happened? The personal pronouns have been removed. That is it, they have been removed. Open space must be a key consideration in urban planning that allows people to enjoy the natural environment better. World's most famous cities are the most livable cities which are known for their green space. It would improve the quality of life for people who often suffer from a polluted environment. Urban planning is a relatively new profession which has arisen from concerns of health and maintaining well-being through averting diseases and the illness associated with overcrowding, poor sanitation and exposure to environmental pollution. So now you must be seeing on the slide that there are arrows and the topic is relative pronouns. That, which, who, which. These are the relative pronouns. So relative pronouns are used to construct relative clause to combine sentences. So to combine two sentences, we use relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are the words that introduce dependent clause or relative clause in sentences. So these are the words we use to combine sentences. We use who, whoever, whom, whomever, that, which, whichever, whose. So you should make your mind very clear that always who is not used to make questions. Who can be a relative pronoun also which is used to combine sentences. Relative pronouns. Person, who, that. For thing, we use that, which. For example, if I say, the person whom I was talking last evening, that time I have used person, I have used who. The pencil that I bought yesterday. So that for thing, a pencil, I have used that. For objects, we use who, whom, whoever, whomever, whichever, that and which. For thing, possessive. When we say that it is mine, possessive means belonging. Whose for both person and thing. Now relative pronoun as a subject. When the relative pronoun is the subject of a clause and refers to a human being who is generally used. Examples are given. The boy who lives next door is a very good painter. I know a lady who eats red hot chilies. So we have to understand that relative pronoun as the subject. What is that? When the relative pronoun is the subject of a clause and it refers to a human being. That is the boy who lives next door. Two things are said about him. He lives next door and he is a very good painter. That is relative pronoun as a subject. Conjunctive pronouns. Who or whoever can join two statements, so it is called a conjunctive pronoun. The one who repeats the mistake will not be forgiven next time. Jonathan refused to say who had organized the meeting. We got the same reply from everyone, whoever we spoke to. So two statements are joined. That is, Jonathan refused to say, full stop, who had organized the meeting. So he refused to disclose the person who had organized the meeting. When the relative pronoun is the subject of a clause and refers to a thing that is generally used. This is the film that I liked the most. It is the best novel that I have ever read. We moved here the year that my brother was born in. Relative pronoun as an object. When the relative pronoun is direct object of the clause and refers to a human being, either whom or that is used. The child whom I met yesterday was pretty. The child that I met yesterday was pretty. So it is an object. When relative clause, a pronoun is a direct object of the clause, it refers to a human being. When the relative is the direct object of the clause and refers to a thing, the relative pronoun which or that is used. I think this is the cold drink which you had asked for. Our sweetest songs are those tell us of saddest thought. Now relative pronoun as a possessive. Relative pronoun whose is used with both animate and inanimate antecedents. It is the only derivative of who which can refer to both animate beings and inanimate beings. Examples are there. The chick whose leg was broken is missing. Anna, whose age is 3, loves to play with toys. So in the first case, it refers to a bird. Second is a human being. And the third one is an inanimate thing. That is non-living thing. It is the house whose door is painted green. Relative pronoun plus a preposition. The player on whose skills the team depended mostly was wounded. George Marshall was US Army chief under whose command the US forces fought in the World War II. Now we have some more complex structures. The man, most of whose assets were lost, had to beg for sustenance. So, many things are involved. First, the man lost all his assets. Second, he was begging. So, the man, most of whose assets were lost, had to beg for sustenance. Second sentence, the writer, the first of whose book had been a bestseller, was a bank officer. So the writer is also a bank officer and his first of the books had been a bestseller. Relative adverbs. When, where, why, whatever and whenever are the commonly used relative adverbs. Emily did not mention the company where she works. I don't understand the reason why she cried. It is a private matter how I spend my free time. I remember the day when I saw Madison last time. Here are the words where, why, how and when, and they are relative adverbs because they introduce the relative clause by referring back to the noun. Now let us see the sentences which are saying while referring to the places as object we use relative adverb where. A relative adverb can be used instead of relative pronoun plus a preposition. This often makes the sentence easier to understand. Once again, while referring to a place as a subject, we use relative adverb verb. This is the field in which we can play cricket. Instead, this is the field where we can play cricket. This is the station at which I have to board the train. This is the station where I have to board the train. By using a preposition with a relative pronoun, we can replace relative adverbs. Where can be replaced by in, oblique, at, which. When can be replaced by in, oblique, on, which. I don't know the day when the training will start. I don't know the day on which the training will start. So now when has been replaced by on followed by which. Why can be replaced by for which. I don't know the reason why Ella cried. I know the reason for which Ella cried. So for is the preposition and which is why has been replaced by for which. Defining restrictive clause and non-defining oblique non-restrictive clause. Though the terminology may appear to be little hard, but if you look at the sentences, things are easy. A defining or a restrictive relative clause is one which is essential for the understanding of a statement. Protesters who smash windows will be penalized. In this example, it is clear that only the protesters, and there may be many protesters, but they are referring to those who have broken the windows, will only be penalized. The word protester is restricted by relative clause that defines it. Commas are not required before and after defining relative clause. In a non-defining or non-restrictive relative clause, the clause is not essential for understanding the sentence. Clauses of this kind add extra or non-essential information to a sentence. The meaning of the sentence would not change if the clause were omitted. Protesters who are mostly aged under 30 want to express an opinion. In this example, the question of age is not an essential bit of information. In other words, we can say relative clause in the sentence gives extra information about the age of entire protesters. Hence, relative clause can be omitted without making the sentence meaningless. We should always use commas with non-defining relative clause. Usually we use the relative pronouns that for introducing a restrictive defining clause and which is for non-restrictive non-defining clause. Look at the difference. The shop that is painted white is for sale. The shop which is painted white is for sale. And the first sentence was the shop that is painted white is for sale. In the second example, the clause is non-restrictive. The writer is giving additional information about the shop he is describing. The clause which is painted white is parenthetical, that is the writer is saying that there is a shop for sale. By the way, the shop is painted white, which is an additional bit of information that is not essential to the meaning and could be taken out. Now fill in the blanks with correct pronouns. It is he dash began the argument.
It is he who began the argument.
Yes, the correct answer. It is he who began the argument. I hope this is the building dash you were searching for. That. Yesterday we saw a car dash was really old. Which? She likes hamburgers dash are hot. Those dash arrive late in class must stay afterwards. Hope you have understood relative clause. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Morning to one and all present over here, respected Asha ma'am and all my dear friends. Today it's I Cadet Shailesh from Vijayanagaram's class 10 going to speak on the topic healthy living. Our lives have the ability to greatly enhance, but technology also has the power to cause our mind and body to atrophy. Personal computers and smart devices along with high-speed internet and social media has changed the way we live, speak and communicate with each other in ways that would have been unimaginable at the starting of this millennia. We are all scrambling to keep our bearings in this digital world. In 2020, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we all were locked in our homes, where we didn't need to physically exert to stay alive. We must not forget that sweat is the most effective elixir for the future shock. Otherwise, humans will turn out to be like humans in the spaceship depicted in World War II, muscles wasted like a blob. Now I would like to tell you some of the healthy habits, to keep our body healthy for a healthy living. Firstly, physical activities. Exercise for at least 20 to 30 minutes every day, almost all the days of the week for a better physics. Next, intellectual curiosity. Spend some time of your put some valuable time of your day in a focused thought, exploring new ideas. Next, foster creativity. Challenge your mind to connect unrelated ideas in better and useful ways. Next, human unity. Create and maintain a close-knit human bond and a social support system in the present society. Next, energy balance. Balance your calories in and calories out of the day. Next, the spiritual connectedness. Find out your inspiration and generate a motivation to achieve the purpose of your life. God loves and takes care of all our aspects of our life. We just need to find out the gifts given by God, which are body, mind, and soul, and execute it properly in our life. Undoubtful faith in God instills peace and tranquility in our life. It helps us to develop self-esteem, self-control, perseverance, stimulating our brain thoughts, mastering our mind, and gratitude towards God and people who are sharing their gifts with others. Now I would like to tell you some of the ways to detox and keep your body healthy. Firstly, have a quality and sufficient sleep every day for helping our brain to detox all the toxic things which had gathered in our mind throughout the day and refresh for a better and useful day for a better and memorable next day. Next, drink sufficient water, which is ferment to nearly 3 liters, approx 8 glasses of water for a smooth functioning of our body and waste removal system. Reduce intake of excess sugar, salt and processed food. and meditate for at least half an hour a day for a healthy mind. In my conclusion, I would like to say that healthy living is not an impossible task. It just needs to be practiced daily and executed properly. Thank you.